It never gets old. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crossing the Streams. This is episode 91 of Crossing the Streams. We're so excited to have you here. We're streaming live in Great Britain, Yemen, or number
4, Yemen,
Norway. We're everywhere. We are everywhere. This is so exciting. We got two great friends of the show with us right now. It's very excited to have Casey Ryan Plott and Mick Manhattan with us.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, guys.
Pleasure to be here.
I am happy to announce it. It looks like we lost Mick. Mick, we lost Mick.
Said nice things about him. And
I mean,
we are live on Twitch. We are live.
He wasn't
on Twitch.
contributing much.
Yeah, Mick was kind of. Let's be honest. He was pulling the show down. And all right, well, the show must go on. My PC froze. He's fixing it now, but we'll continue. Casey, kick us off with this.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
Sal.
Then made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff and Ron and Sal and Bob, and then there's Howard. They call it Crossing Streams.
Ron.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform, but man, we cross those streams. Here we go.
Here we go. We cross the streams. We cross the streams.
We cross the streams. That's the way we do it. Here we cross the streams.
See, that was Sal working the mic straight on.
Sound good?
It. Perfect.
Sounds
That's
beautiful.
Casey's got talent. I didn't realize that this was.
And we all have talent. That's why we're the most talented people in the world.
Clearly, the most talented show right now for everyone.
This is Welcome to Crossing the Streams, where we answer the universal question: what should I be binge watching next? I just finished something, and now I got to watch something else. Well, you've come to the right place. This is episode 91. That means there's 90 hours. Soon to be 91 hours.
Fedorov, 91.
That's right. It's Fedorov.
Yes, Fedorov. Sports. I love it. Keep it going. The of TV binge watching suggestions, just sitting there. We got some great stuff for you today. Mick Manhattan's going to be rejoining us in a minute. His PC froze.
91. It's the same number of hours I'm spending with my mother-in-law on Thanksgiving weekend. I'm sorry. Wait, what?
How did that feel?
Sorry. Sorry, go ahead, please.
For all of you streaming, we got Jerry in the house. What's up, Jerry?
What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Lee spelled L-I.
And so this is fun. We got a huge audience, most of them from Norway. We got a whole Norway contingency with us today, thanks to Casey Ryan Plott. And Mick will be back, Lee. Mick will be back. We got a couple things to kind of rattle through. I'm trying to think. There was I wanted to say this in front of Mick, so I'll wait because I started to watch The Munsters. So Mick reviewed it last week, so I wanted to. But I think in all fairness, I should give him 5 minutes to come back. And then for everyone listening that does live streaming, rule number 1: reboot your computer right before the live stream. Always. Live stream takes a lot out of your computer. So anyway, so you can enjoy this. So we got a pretty cool show for you today. Let's go through the rules, not rules, but the fun rules. So if anyone drinks on the show, you drink. If there's a technical issue, I think Mick's counted. So everyone start chugging.
Mick's drinking.
Drink. If we have to if we forget to mention what platform the show is on, drink. If we put your name on the screen, drink. If we forget someone's name, drink. If if you just want to drink.
Bam.
Boom. And take a second. Let's remember our friends in Ukraine kicking ass. Yes.
Pretty soon we're gonna have to put a Russian flag up there because we're starting to feel sorry for those people.
How it turns, right? Oh man. So Tech Talk. Hey, what's up? Yeah, Norway. We're huge in Norway, so this is exciting.
Big Scandinavian contingent right now.
We've had a couple big
Aw.
losses the last week. Angela Lansbury and Judy Tenuta.
Yeah.
Just to cover Judy real quick, I had her on my podcast probably just a few months ago. She was talking about her battle. So that one hit me a little extra hard just because I had just interviewed about it and I knew how hard she was fighting firsthand. So that was, but it was kind of cool. And it was nice because my YouTube version, I think my actual podcast version too, but at least the YouTube version of my interview with her, like just more than doubled in listens. So which was nice just because it was nice that people found it at that moment and it was there. So that made me feel good. See, podcasters do good.
We try really hard.
We try, right? We try.
I opened up for Judy at Chaplin's on Groesbeck here in Michigan, probably 1999, I would say, and place was packed. Obviously, she was still at a little bit of higher notoriety as she was the last few years of her life, obviously, but she was the first comic I ever opened up for where when I was up on stage doing my time before I brought her up, there was people holding signs like at a baseball game. And I've never seen that to this day in a comedy setting where people had, like signs that they made and then they unfolded it and it said, we love you, Judy, or somebody, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? And I'm talking like 10 of them. And I was like, that was like something, obviously, I never forgot. She was very nice to me. So
amazing.
Everyone says
awesome.
how nice she was. And she was definitely unique. I mean, there was nobody like Judy Tenuta. Absolutely. And then Angela Lansbury. What is with old age getting everyone? It's like nobody's talking about it. No one's talking about it.
Yeah, no one's getting out of this place alive. But listen, Angela Lansbury. It's I was saying to CRP before the show that she will forever be the voice of Beauty and the Beast for me. I know she had notoriety on stage and through Murder, She Wrote and all that. But dude, I grew up listening to Beauty and the Beast, and, with my kids and that whole thing. And then what's funny is if you even now if you walk in Vegas past the Paris Hotel, you hear Angela Lansbury singing Beauty and the Beast songs in front of the Paris Hotel in Vegas. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, sorry. When I'm walking by there, I'm always shit faced, Ron. So I don't remember.
You're not listening to Angela Lansbury tunes.
That's actually where I get shit faced is while listening to Angela Lansbury tunes. That's.
I think you need to get shit faced to make it through the Beauty and the Beast movie, the live action one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's really exciting to get hammered listening to Bedknobs and Broomsticks, though. That's the one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Keeper.
That's funny. So
Mick is gone, huh? He's just.
I don't know what happened to Mick. R.I.P. Mick. No, just kidding.
Don't say that, guys. What the hell?
So, Casey, tell everyone about your morning drive show and stuff like that. And Sal, you need a couple inches from the mic.
Here with the Scene Snobs, I'm representing along with my good friend Mick, who is currently invisible. And we have a couple shows. We have a live show Tuesday night at 9 p.m. You can check us out on thescenesnobs.com. We also just started our Friday morning drive live. Starts 7 a.m. and goes to 10 a.m. So we definitely want to check that out. And a bunch of other different random videos. We're always throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So check it on over to the YouTube.
I was listening to your drive show the other day. I was going to the dentist, and it was nice to listen to on the way there. And then yesterday or the day before, I was on your Twitch, and I was commenting. I don't know if you could see it or not.
We did, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was. I thank you. I'm glad that you thought of us on your way to the dentist. That's pretty.
Well,
radical.
yeah. Well, I'd say, what would be more painful than getting this tooth extracted?
I was hoping we just might rate 1 point above. That's all I need. It's fine.
So for those of us that are not as savvy as you guys are, should the rest of us get Twitch? Is that something we need?
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, we air this show on Twitch, and to be nice, they rounded up to 1 viewer.
Ooh, that's kind of bad.
Okay.
We had one the other day. It was you, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're like a gamer or something, I mean, there's a certain niche that I think Twitch is really good for. But
Yeah, it's really good
I don't
if you
know
want to
if- I
like
don't know.
stream something and then like talk over it, or if you want to have
Yeah.
a video game and play
see.
actively. That's more what it's for.
Got it.
I don't know if Mick's coming back. All right, well let's talk about last week. We discussed Cobra Kai, the Munsters reboot, a show called Reboot, and Facing Nolan. And so that was
a good
fun.
show.
Yeah, that was good. That was a really solid show. So this week we were going to talk about Blonde if Mick comes back. We got Outer Range. We got the Battered Bastards of Baseball, and Cyberpunk. I can't talk. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. That's what happens when I think I have it memorized and realize as I start to talk, I have no idea. Oh, so hey, Jason Taylor. Twitch is like YouTube for gamers. There we go.
Okay, appreciate that, Jason.
Oh, Mick's working on it.
He's working on it.
He's working on it. All right. Well, hopefully we just won't put you first. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, wait. I got that comment still up. Sometimes I cannot find these things. The interface for this is so confusing. Some days it's easier than others. So, all right, let's get going. Let's do a show, and we can always talk about something else later. Let's start with the Battered Bastards of Baseball. This is a
Okay.
That's a Sal.
Okay. First of all, Ron, I wanted to do the Nolan Ryan one that you reviewed last week, and I'll have to.
Well,
circle
I'm
back
I'm
and
hoping
watch
there's
that.
I'm hoping there's a minute at the end of this show that we can circle back on that, because I'm really interested in your opinion.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, anyway, I was just going to say it was great. I loved it. Just real quick, but anyway, this one is about this one kind of starts with Bing Russell, and for all of you out there, that's Kurt Russell's father, who most famously was the sheriff on Bonanza for 13 seasons. He also did, I think he had like over 800 television appearances. He was on every show that you could think of on television. Big time actor. He was a character actor. Kurt Russell, his own father, even said he was like a plumber of the acting business. He just went to work every day and just was never like the big star. But he did acting gigs alongside John Wayne and all the greats. So, but he started his life, and I didn't know this about him. He started his life as a huge baseball fan. He was from the St. Petersburg, Florida area, and that's where the Yankees Florida team was. And he used to go to the ball field and watch Lefty Gazelle and all these just great Yankees, Roger Maris and all these guys. And one time he was just hanging around the ball field, and he kind of got invited in, and he became almost like a bat boy for the Yankees down there. And that's how his love of baseball started, even before his acting was a big thing in his life. So he basically just grows up around baseball, and then out in Portland, Oregon, and he kind of dabbled in the game a little bit. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he played just in minor league baseball himself, but never made it to the big leagues. But his love of baseball never wandered. And out in Portland, Oregon, there was a AAA team in Portland, Oregon that folded, and him and Kurt Russell and some other guys decided to have a minor league baseball team in Portland, Oregon, the Portland Mavericks. And he didn't want to be part of Major League Baseball, so he kind of wanted to do it on his own. But when you do it on your own, you've got to pay these players out of your own pocket. And he decided to do that. So they were like just think of it as like the Bad News Bears, of professional baseball. He had these open tryouts, and people from all over the country came just trying out. All these guys that got cut from Major League Baseball teams came out. And he just kind of put this team together. Some were really good guys that played Major League Baseball for like a week, and then got cut and stuff. And the city kind of acclimated to it, started to love the team. And their very first game in existence in 1973, after they just hodgepodge this team together, their pitcher throws a no-hitter. in the very, very first game. Just absolutely insane. And just after that, they just kind of became the city kind of grew. Like they ended up having like the most attendance ever in minor league history at the end of this 4 or 5 year run. This team, but at first they were, they thought everybody thought they were going to be horrible and nobody knew, and they ended up winning. And they were beating minor league baseball teams that were affiliated with Major League Baseball, and it was pissing off baseball and just the Major League Baseball hated them. They would actually, towards the end of the year, these Major League Baseball teams would send down really good players just to make sure that they beat the Portland Mavericks, because they didn't want them winning anything, and they never did. As great as that team was, they never ended up winning it all because they just always got beat at the end. But they were very, very popular. The things that Bing Russell did is still being used today. He had the first female general manager in all of baseball ever. She was 24 years old when he hired her. She was a general manager. They had an Asian head coach at one point. That was the first one ever in baseball. Just so the things that Bing Russell did, along with he had 30 people on his roster, 30 guys on his roster, which is unheard of. He had to pay all these guys. But they would ask him, they would say, why do you have 30 people on? He said, you know what? There's a few guys on here that need their last shot. Like he just wanted people on the team because it built characters. This one guy went up in the stands one night. They were about to sweep a team. So he took a broom and he just goes up in the stands. One of the players, and the coaches didn't care. They didn't care. People hugging him and everything. And they started burning the broom. Well, it became like a regular thing. And they were actually making these brooms. Like Bing Russell said, okay, let's make them so they kind of like tiki torches, and it became like a popular thing. All of a sudden, people were bringing their own brooms in, which is something that would never be done today. It's unheard of. But just a really, really fun team. He made baseball fun, and these guys were just all like has-beens in Major League Baseball. It was a really fun team to watch. The city loved it. And they became really popular. And then in 1977, they wanted Major League Baseball said, well, they kind of being jerks and said, we want to put a minor league team back in Portland because they saw the notoriety, they saw the attendance, and it kind of went to court. Bing Russell took Major League Baseball to court, and they offered him $26,000 at the first meeting to kind of get out of town. And Bing Russell said, put a zero in the middle of that, and then I'll say yes, which was $206,000. And that's the reason why they went to court, because Major League Baseball told him to go screw himself, and he took him to court and actually won the settlement of $206,000. And the Portland Mavericks were no longer in existence. They folded. It was a 4-year run of one of the best minor league seasons, or 4 seasons. That's never been duplicated today. They had the highest attendance for minor league baseball, 125,000 for a season. Now, I don't know if that's changed today, but Bing Russell actually died in 2008, and he just I think it's, besides his acting, I think I didn't know this about him. I think it's a really cool thing. It makes me even more fond of Bing Russell today, and Kurt Russell's in it. A lot of scenes with Kurt Russell in there, a lot of video of the team, and you kind of get to see these guys in their playing days. It was really cool. I give it a 5 cement jars, 5 tomato sauce stars, and I thought it was great. If you're a baseball fan, I would definitely watch this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Really
I'm
good.
Definitely convinced to check that out. I mean, the idea of someone actually making a game fun sounds
Well,
pretty
did you
interesting,
hear
so.
what they're doing now with baseball? Like this independent team out of Savannah.
Mm-mm.
They're called the Savannah Bananas, and they started this thing called Banana Ball, where they created these rules to make the games way more fun. And if you're cool with it, Jeff, you mind if I just show you some of these rules, or read you some of these rules real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So fans in the game, any foul ball caught by a spectator counts as an out. No time to waste. Neither managers nor catchers can visit the mound, and if a batter steps out of the box between pitches, it's called a strike. Run, don't walk. The moment the umpire calls ball 4, the batter takes off sprinting and the defense snaps into action. They have to throw it to every position before they can get him out. So if he makes it home before they throw it to every position, that's a point. Batters can steal first when passed ball or a wild pitch. No bunting or they're thrown out. Match play is like banana ball is like match play in golf. The team that scores the most runs during the inning gets a point for that inning. The win goes to the team with the most points at the end of the game. There's like a ton of them. Like you gotta check it out because you can't go longer than an hour and 50 minutes.
Awesome.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, that rule sounds good, but I don't know about the other ones for true baseball fans. I don't know if that one's gonna fly, but it sounds like it'd be fun to watch for a night for me. But
yeah,
I'll take my 1-0 duels, Yankees versus Houston here in a week or so.
Well,
hopefully.
Speaking of sounds fun to watch for a night, let's talk about Blonde. This is a Marilyn Monroe movie that Mick is going to take us through.
I am not going to say it's something fun you should watch for them, unless you just want to see Ana de Armas nude pretty much throughout the entire thing. But that got real tiresome real fast. This abysmal piece of something. This is my most hated movie of the year. I absolutely hated this movie. I sat through its 2 hours and 47-minute runtime of nonsense. Most of it's not even real. It's based on a book that is complete fiction. Passing and let's be real, Netflix, I don't care what you say, you were passing this off as like a biopic, so I don't want to hear it. Everything they've done with it. The director of this movie, Andrew Dominic, he's done other movies that I was never really impressed with, like the Assassination of Jesse James, Killing Me Softly, a few others, like nothing. And it kind of matches well with this movie because Ana de Armas tries. You can tell she's really trying to play, but she's playing a character. She's not playing. It's not like she went in and dove deep into trying to find out who Marilyn Monroe is. She's playing the character that we all know. And God, her life was hard enough that they had to add fake things happening throughout all of this that were just horrible. And real people who were in this, real people who were being portrayed in this, were completely falsely being portrayed. Like Charlie Chaplin's son, they made him look like a real scoundrel. Edward G. Robinson's son, like they made him a throuple in the movie. And there's nothing to even say that they were actually all friends. She just knew them. And it was kind of in passing, but they made the whole thing just really stupid. And there's 2, let's count them, 2 shots from inside the vaginal canal looking out at the doctors. So if you didn't realize that you needed 1 in your life, and I don't know why you would, you got 2.
Great, double your fun.
And it's not a baby being born. I'll tell you that much. I'm not trying to be controversial or anything like that, but just in the movie, I'm like, what are we doing here? You're just trying to be shocking at this point. This was a terrible movie. Don't watch it. Save yourself some time. Stare at a wall with paint drying. It's much more fun.
Wow.
So
What was it,
the
buddy?
name of the you did Untold Marilyn Monroe, and you like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was just her documentary, so it kind of was okay. This looks like it had actors and actresses, Mick, that are portraying this. Okay, it's probably just bad acting, right? A little bit.
Well, and I'll give it to Ana de Armas. She does a good job as Marilyn Monroe, but again, it's a character. It's who we are like. Oh, that's who Marilyn Monroe is. They don't do much into. It's like, okay, this is Marilyn Monroe, and this is exactly what we know of her in movies. So she's going to act out Marilyn Monroe's life like that, and we're going to do horrible, horrible things to her.
Didn't the
You-
director also do the Crowded House video for Fall at Your Feet?
I don't know.
Who doesn't love Crowded House?
Oddly specific.
Yeah.
Jeff's a big fan.
I wonder how many vaginal canal shots were in that.
You know,
That's
it
so-
makes
so-
I feel like you may be taking that out of context, though. Was there?
I'm not. You're not. It's
Well,
exactly what it sounds like.
Speaking of that, if you don't mind me asking, you said it's not a baby being born,
It's
right?
they
You
keep-
said that about the vaginal thing.
There's
If
a-
it's not a baby being born, then what is it?
it's
You're
abortion.
being
what are
stuffed
they-
back in.
It's showing
Oh.
her abortions throughout, and
Oh,
and they're
okay.
doing
All
it in
right.
such a way where it's just like
Thought it
you're-
was like a gynecologist visit or something. I thought.
Did she have abortions, or did they make that up too?
Well, she did have abortions. So from because I went on and I was like, I got to read what actually happened here because this is a nightmare. So reading the actual truth to it and going in, she has had a lot of abortions. In the movie, they make it, they portray it as like she was being forced to have these abortions, and I was like, really, that's horrible. That's crazy if that was like that. And then I read it and it was like, from friends' accounts and things like that, and even by her own account, like it wasn't like that. She had some abortion. She didn't want to have kids, and that's just kind of the way it went. Like, and she did lose a baby when she was with Arthur Miller, which is they portray that in the movie.
Remember
too.
that,
And that
yeah.
is just stupid. And not really like caring in any way. It's not like you're not really, how, like you watch a biopic and it's like, hey, we're just going to show you this person's life and we're going to make it terrible. And it's like, come on, you could have shown some compassion to the woman.
Did they show her dress going up in the on the street? Did they at least do that scene?
Oh,
They did.
The one,
And
okay,
let me tell
all
you,
right, at least-
it's a beautiful movie. It is a beautiful movie. It looks like a cologne ad when it's not doing stupid things.
spared no expense.
Is really what it comes down to. And I think my biggest issue with it overall was the one really true thing they got in this is that Joe DiMaggio was a piece of garbage and beat her quite often because he was jealous. And I was like, oh man, everything else isn't true. I am sure Joe DiMaggio is not.
Did
a
they
dirtbag.
focus? Since I have no intention of watching this, and I'm sure none of our viewers are going to watch this, also, are they? Is she sleeping with both the Kennedys at the same time?
Here's the thing. You think they would have gotten into it and maybe like explained it a little bit more, went into it a little more in depth, like what was the relationship like? Nope. She goes from a movie premiere to like being high on drugs into a plane, ushered in by Secret Service into the hotel. Legit walk, and I'm just gonna spoil it for everybody. I don't care. They walk her in. They walk her in. He's on the phone doing some kind of presidential work or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, baby," and then just makes her give him a blowjob. That's it, and that's where you go. That's as far as it goes, and they don't really explain much to it. And it's like, I feel like this could have been a richer story.
A little more fabric to it.
More Zoom.
Yeah.
A little more
Like have an
character
interaction that isn't like
wait,
Joe Pesci in Casino.
I just Googled this, and I know you were anti the vaginal stuff, but according to this, the second Lord of the Rings movie is 100% from that same point of view.
Which is I'm a fan of. The way they do it in Two Towers was very different because it's an upshot.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
don't mind.
And it's like the
vaginal-
legs of the towers.
I don't mind
Exactly.
vaginal canal shots as long as they're done tastefully.
Right. Of course.
And not like a cologne ad.
That goes without saying. But, all right. I think we've buried Blonde enough. we've done enough damage to Blonde. So what do we got? We got let's go with Cyberpunk.
All right.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Very colorful.
Yes, it's very different. It's so I want to preface this whole thing by saying I'm not normally a big anime guy. I do enjoy some anime. Animated things can be good, but it's not generally my ballywick, not where I go to. This, however, is a Netflix show. Runtime, it's 10 episodes. They're 24 minutes a pop on average. So you can burn through it real quick. And this is a shockingly great story. So this is all based on the video game Cyberpunk 2077 that came out in 2020. And this show follows the life of one David Martinez. So you've got one character that you're actually following along throughout its entirety, and you go from the beginning of his life to the end of his life. It takes place in Night City, which is the fictional place that Cyberpunk takes place in. And the key in Night City is you don't become a legend unless you die on top. So it's kind of this fun thing of watching this character who's a kid that you want to believe in, that you're behind the whole time, that you're excited. He's so full of life and piss and vinegar. And you're like, all right, let's do this thing, kid. And then you watch him just fall down the same terrible trail that everyone else has in their lives in this terrible city. So it doesn't paint really a positive light into the future, but it's pretty exciting. Everyone gets cyber implants. That's a big part of it as well. So it's a big deal to try to change who you are in your body and be able to hack things with your mind. So they are your eyes, because you change out eyes and get different implants. It's wild. So it's a bit of a stretch. I understand some people might not be cool with that, but the story overall is fantastic. The character development is wonderful. This was put together by Rafael Jockey, who actually, this was one of his first shows. Normally what he's done is he's always been a video game developer. So the video game developers for this were CD Projekt Red. They've done Witcher 3 and some other big video games. So this was kind of him moving into the world of, anime. And it was done really well. A couple wild voices that I caught, different voice actors. Giancarlo Esposito is in this, who played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. So it was wild catching.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
voices.
Taps. He was in Taps.
He was in Taps. He was.
What? I didn't know that.
It's his first movie, I think. Yeah.
Oh man, I got to check that out again. I got to rewatch Taps.
He was also in Maximum Overdrive.
Well, yes, he is in Maximum Overdrive, one of the Stephen King's greatest film, obviously. So Cyberpunk it's a fun one. It's a fast one. Even if you're not a fan of anime, it's a really good story that really locks you in, and they keep the action going. It's an exciting story. So I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think everyone should watch it. You should definitely check it out. I rate it very, very highly. Netflix had it as their #1 show for like 2 weeks. So,
and how long are each of these episodes?
24 minutes. 24
minutes, not bad.
Yep, exactly. You can do that in your drive time when you walk from upstairs to downstairs.
During my drive time, I listen to the Scene Snobs.
It's a wise move.
See, that's beautiful.
Love that plug.
Great plug. Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Jerry wants to know how many inner vaginal cam shots are in.
So here's the thing. They actually do the cam shots in cars. So it's very different. It's not the way you think. So.
Got it.
The first and only cartoon ever to do that type of shot was the original Grape Ape series.
I thought that was from the backside.
Right.
I was completely wrong. I didn't realize it was vaginal. Here I am, a child, misguided.
All right, so let's move on to our next. This one's Outer Range, the Josh Brolin.
Yep.
Extravaganza.
Has anybody seen it?
Not yet. No.
No. Have you even heard of it? I didn't even know about it until last week, actually. And it started actually in April. It's in its original run, first season, 8 episodes, 45 to 55 minute episodes, starring Josh Brolin, which I don't know about you guys. I'm a huge Josh Brolin fan. I would say almost entirely from his work in No Country for Old Men, which is one of my very, very favorite movies. But he also was in American Gangster too. And
he's great in Deadpool.
He's great in Deadpool as well, actually. Yes.
And he's Thanos.
Are we forgetting Goonies?
Yeah, he's great as Mikey's brother.
Originally in Goonies. I think that was his first movie, actually. Nick, I could be wrong, but I think
his first movie was Taps.
Everyone's
first movie.
But this show was funded by Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's production company, Plan B, and it was another one that they just kind of built and kind of put together the cast around Josh Brolin, which was, I think, the right move. It kind of has if you guys have seen Westworld, the new Westworld on HBO, it kind of has that vibe. It's Western, but also modern with kind of like a techno aspect to it. So I don't really know what to make of this show. I got to be honest with you. I watched all eight shows of it. Sometimes I do reviews and only watch a few of the shows and project out what I think the show is going to be. This one I actually watched. I watched the whole thing. We're through the first season. They already re-upped for the second one. It's already in production. So this is happening. It is catching on. It is one of Amazon's highest rated shows right now. So good for them. Very simply, I'll give you the rundown about what it is. It's a science fiction neo-Western about Royal Abbott. That's Josh Brolin's character, a Wyoming rancher fighting for his land and family when he discovers a mysterious black hole, a void in his pasture, following the arrival of a drifter who is in connection, so he has some kind of connection to the ranch. And so while the family is coping with the disappearance of their daughter-in-law, they're pushed to the brink when a rival family, the Tillersons, figure out that there's something else special about the land, and you don't know what that is. And that's a whole part of the show. Two rival families fighting for the same land. There's an issue with the way the land had been put out by the county. Like there was a fight over the survey and where the land property lines were and all that stuff. So that's kind of part of the context of the show. But the show really is about, what is this hole in the earth? What does it mean? It clearly has something to do with time and the warping of time and how that can be manipulated or used, or somehow you are the victim of it. And that is, I find it to be a fascinating. I love anything that has to do with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. And so it's particularly interesting within the context of a Western kind of period piece. So it's kind of like, what is this? It's like people on horses carrying guns, and there's time travel. But it's a very interesting show. I will be honest with you. There were moments during the 8 episode run that I wasn't really sure where they're going with this thing. I was hoping they weren't going to go the Lost route of impressing you early on and then having no idea where they're going to go.
A smoke monster.
Right. Exactly. But I have more confidence in this. I do think that the Plan B production company is better than that. I think they have something in mind for the future of the show. They do leave you with a very tantalizing ending to the first season. And it did leave me very interested to find out what is going to happen. I will just say this without ruining any of the plot points. Not everybody who is interacting with the Tillersons and the Abbotts are from the same time. I'll just say it that way. And you don't know that early on, but you start to figure that out. They lead you down that path. So it's one of these shows that I don't know about you guys, like some shows will spoon feed you what's happening in the show. And it's kind of like it's a linear process. They're spoon feeding you everything that's going on. And then other shows, they don't give you any spoon feeding and they leave it to you to kind of figure out. And you may have an aha moment, or you may be like me where you're an idiot and you don't understand anything until the very end.
That's every show for me. I'm with you.
Right. That was pretty much it. And then finally they hit you in the face with it at the very end. And then you're like, oh shit, I got to rethink every one of these episodes now through the context of what we just learned. And that's kind of cool. I like when shows do that. And because of that, I'm going to recommend this show. I think it's pretty cool. I think they did a great job with this. The production's excellent. The CGI, which there's a lot of CGI, which is kind of amazing for a Western. The CGI is excellent. And I think it's a beautifully done show. So Josh Brolin, to be fair, carries the show. He's that good in the show. The other support cast all around him are fine. But the power of this series is in Josh Brolin and the writing of what I think is an excellent screenplay for this. So good job, boys, and at Plan B. And I guess it's Brad Pitt's production company now alone. I guess
Brad Pitt needs a Plan B.
right.
Yeah.
So clearly they threw some money at this thing. It's well done, and I think Amazon Prime. I think Prime needs some shows like this. I think they're kind of thin on these kinds of.
Brad Pitt puts his money behind a lot of good movies.
He also
really
put
does.
his money behind Blonde. So
is that true? Is it Plan B?
Plan B did that one as
Oh
well.
shit! Nick,
But
Yeah,
he
you
also
just
did 12 years.
You just
What's
shot a
what's the
big
12 years a
12
slave?
years, 12 years a slave.
I
That was
will
a
tell
great
you
one,
what.
yeah.
Plan B, they were bound to have a loser at one point.
Absolutely.
They've had some really good stuff. So I don't frown him. I mean, I don't know with all this stuff, him coming out beating his kids and his wife, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my
so
God.
I'll just say this. I don't know about you guys, but for the first time, with the advent of streaming and all this, I actually do pay attention to who the production companies are.
Mhm.
And it's Plan B is one of those you're like, oh, it's a Plan B production, it's got to be pretty good, right? The other one in my mind is A24. Have you got
A24 is
that?
great. Yep.
They are great. Every one of those things that they put out, every one of those products are fantastic.
Fantastic horror movies. They do a great job with horror and really cerebral. And I'm glad to hear that this is one of those shows that respects the audience to actually like learn stuff and think for themselves. That's always fun.
Yeah,
Adds to the mystery.
I think you'll appreciate this one, CRP. I think if you watch the first episode and like the first episode, then I think you're going to like the whole run, because the first episode is a perfect lens to see everything with.
Awesome.
So,
well, let's trade them off. You do Cyberpunk and I'll do.
To answer Lee's question, yes, it's his son, and he's also the son of Barbara Streisand.
Babs.
Yeah. He was. I'd forgotten that he was the bad guy in American Gangster. He seems to play a bad guy in everything.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the dirty cop in American Gangster.
Oh man, I didn't even remember, because all right, I completely forgot.
He's a talented dude. I mean, I think he's kind of typecast a little bit as a bad guy. He's not a bad guy in this one, but I just think he loves to do westerns. I can tell you that.
Yeah, he does. And I know he was great in Gangster Squad. He was one of the few good guys that he played, but still a hardliner. That's kind of Josh Brolin's thing. When you got a jaw like that, you've got to be the tough guy.
Listen, the only cowboys I need are on the Yellowstone.
I hear that's good. So we're running a little early. I watched a movie. I didn't know if we'd have time, so I didn't throw it in. But let's talk about Bullet Train for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So two produced Brad Pitt movies.
Yeah. Let's go with Bullet Train for a minute. So I watched Bullet Train a couple days ago. I freaking loved it. I just enjoyed it every second. It's one of those movies that's just so surreal and so out of there that you just got to kind of accept what's happening, because nothing is realistic that's happening. Everything is extremely violent, extremely over the top. It's one of those. It felt kind of Tarantino-ish. It felt like maybe this was a foreign type film where they blended in some Brad Pitt USA kind of stuff and some surprise cameos. I thought the acting was amazing. Michael Shannon's in this. He's so great. I thought Brad Pitt was he was great, but I don't even think he was like the best thing about this movie at all. He was enjoyable, but a lot of the Joey King and who else was in it? So many people I don't even know. I can't even pronounce most of their names. It was nice to see Hero from Heroes.
Nice.
Hiro Nakamura. He kind of had a cameo. I think the girl from The Boys was in it too. Karen Fukuhara. I think she was in The Boys. But I mean, the characters I thought were hilarious and fun, and everything was like trying to do this, and then everything kind of meshed together, and then they'd go back in time and they'd explain to you what happened, and then they'd go, then they'd introduce something else, and then something weird would happen. And like I thought did anyone else see this movie?
Yeah, so
what did you think?
Yet.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was like that high octane action adventure movie. That just it kept raising the stakes on you as it was going, but it had a nice layer of comedy to it. Everybody did like a really fun job. You're right. Brad Pitt is the lead in this, but he definitely steps aside in it and just lets everybody else shine.
I think Brian 3 Henry, he plays Lemon.
Brian
then-
Tyree Henry.
Brian Tyree Henry, drink everyone. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson is Tangerine, sort of his partner in crime. The two of them were freaking amazing together. They were just so great. There's great fighting in this. There's great killing in this. It's just one of those movies where you just watch it and just surrender yourself to just enjoy it. It's one of those like summer blockbuster movies where there's nothing to be learned, nothing to be gained. You're not going to become a better person because of this movie. Nothing. At the end, no reason. Everyone isn't dead. You had some people walk away without scratches. Who cares? I don't care. It was just super fun. And now, granted, my wife couldn't deal with it and she left, but I just could not stop watching it. I loved it. It was fun. I just thought it was a super fun movie. But
I love
I,
movies like that
Alright.
because I feel like since what was it, Dueling Aces? Like every couple years, there's
Yeah,
a movie that comes out
that's a
along those
good
lines.
comparison. That's a
that
good
has
comparison.
High octane, crazy smash cuts with all kinds of crazy murder and just huge names all over. Like I'm seeing, Zazie Beetz is on this as well. Love her from Atlanta. She's fantastic. So definitely gonna check it out.
so it was one of those
check it
movies
out,
where everything's happening, everything intersects, and then slowly you figure out or you learn how everything intersects and how everything's related.
That's
Michael Shannon, who was in a show favorite, the Nine. What was the Nicole Kidman one? The Nine Strangers.
Nine Perfect Strangers.
Right. So Michael Shannon was in Nine Perfect Strangers. Played like a father, kind of a dweeb, I guess. Right. But he was also Zod in Superman. And
That's right.
and in this he plays a badass. He's like that one guy whose name I'm blanking on, Stephen Root, who can play like a badass, right? Or like the guy from Office Space. Oh, I think you
Stapler,
took my
please.
stapler. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like Michael Shannon's like he can play both sides and you don't question it. You don't question either version of the character that he's playing because they're so good. They're so
Agreed.
good.
I mean, that was what he blew me away in the Iceman. He was so great in that where he plays a Jersey hitman. Like that was awesome. So I've
Interesting.
been sold on Michael Shannon ever since.
Yeah, Michael Shannon's awesome. And then there's it doesn't matter. Sandra Bullock. It's in. I feel like once it's in IMDb, it's like whatever. Yeah, she has I guess you could recognize it's her. You knew it was somebody. It's not even a big deal. But like,
Yeah.
And it's just more of a fan. It's just not even fan service. Who cares? It was just a nice surprise. But
Jeff, would you mind? Can I circle back around to Sally to talk just for a minute about Nolan Ryan?
yeah, we can end my bullet train. I think everyone should go see it. Hop on the bullet train.
how about
as they
we
say.
see
Hop
that?
on the bullet train talking about Nolan Ryan. So Sally, I just want one of the things that I just want to make sure that we hit because with you and I talking about it, I hadn't realized, and the documentary makes so very clear what a complete dick he was once he was on the mound. Like he was the nicest person in the world until he trotted out on the mound, and then he hated everybody like you were his enemy.
You're absolutely right. He hit a lot of guys. He hit more guys than anybody in Major League Baseball history. But you're right. He hit guys like a ton of times in the minor leagues, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they were talking. I don't know if you guys heard Sally talk about this before, but this was before the true advent of radar guns. But it was just coming on. He was throwing the ball 107, 108 miles an hour. This dude, and hitting people with it.
Yep.
That's dangerous, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They talked about it early on that the reason scouts were looking at him was not just that he was hitting people, but he was breaking people's arms. He was like cutting people down. No one wanted to face him.
You said he became a badass on the mound.
Yeah.
That's how my wife describes me when I play euchre.
Oh, I thought you were going to say in
No. She won't play euchre with me. She's like, you become an asshole. I'm like, because I'm here to win, my lady.
Because it's win or death.
Yeah.
Humper Dink. Yeah. So
Well, and that's a fun story too, because Roger Clemens discusses that, because he was a big Nolan guy, loved Nolan growing
Yes.
up, and then talked about he, kind of styled himself after Nolan Ryan. So that's why he used to throw right over people's heads at 102 miles per hour. It was awesome.
yeah.
Him and Randy Johnson are in it a lot, just giving testimonials. And I like the George Brett parts. I just loved when he talked, because it was like he obviously faced him, and it's just
It's funny too, because it's the reverse with George Brett. I don't know if you guys were baseball guys back in the 70s and 80s, but there was no bigger asshole in baseball than George Brett.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now he just appears to be the nicest, most honest, sincere, just telling it like it is. Like you'd want to have a beer with him. Like you'd
Well, I
want
think because he got it all out of his
Brett.
system.
That's how my wife describes me when I'm not playing youth.
It's like in any professional setting. I just hate people while I'm working, and then when I'm out.
True, Mick.
Yeah, but George Brett was really funny about how, frankly, just afraid he was of Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
I believe it. And considering Brett was one of those who was considered the fearless one, he'd go out there and punch people's running from second to third. He was miserable. He was a jerk.
Right. And then Sally, I just the Robin Ventura part of the story is the greatest.
Great.
It's the greatest part of any sports story I've ever heard.
It really is.
Did you hear that part, Casey?
I did not.
So there's the fame. You can Google it. It's the famous fight scene between Nolan Ryan and Robin Ventura. Robin Ventura gets hit. He runs to the mound and proceeds to get bashed by Nolan Ryan over and over in a headlock, and it's fantastic. But the backstory is he didn't want to go. He got forced by his teammates. There was a bounty on Nolan Ryan that the first person to get hit has to charge the mound no matter what. And so they talk about it that he got hit, and you can see it. There's this moment where he's looking like, I don't want to do this.
but he had to do it. It's so funny.
It is funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
He didn't want to be interviewed for that documentary or
he
nothing.
Didn't want to be interviewed. He's probably at home. Can we just let this go already?
Seriously, it's what, 40, 50 years ago? Come on.
Shut up, Ventura, and get on camera.
Crazy.
Oh, that's funny. So I did want to say, since Mick is here, I tried to watch the Munsters, and I watched maybe. My wife said, "Why are you doing that to yourself?" I gotta give it 15 minutes, and I know you liked it, but
watch Blonde and then try watching the Munsters again. You'll be fine.
The Munsters looked like weak attempts at a made-for-TV movie.
Very much. Almost,
I mean, honestly,
in the shadows, like it had
but none of it even made sense. I mean, it was almost like Rob Zombie knew more than the movie, and then just so it didn't necessarily like to me, like, and this is gonna sound stupid, like when Lily Munster. Sometimes when you do prequels, the problem with prequels, especially as you mentioned, someone who doesn't know how to write, is they have to mash everything together, right? Lily has to meet Herman, right? So we know that happened. So we have to create that, and we have to make it happen, because we know that's where the story goes. And like, so for her to go like the whole rock star thing, and then she goes backstage, and then he falls in love with her, but there was clearly no way he could have seen her from where he was standing.
It's true love,
but like the hearts are going behind him, and it's like it didn't seem like it was put together by. I could see the same exact pieces put together by someone who knew what they were doing.
Think about it. Who directed it? A musician. Who was playing Lily off in the distance? His wife. It's their love story, and he put it in the Munsters. Now, am I defending this movie? No, you can hate it. I don't care.
I didn't even hate it. I felt bad for it, which I think is worse.
I didn't. I didn't.
I'm like, oh, it's nice. You think this is a movie? You know what I mean? I was like, I get it. It's nice that he did that. I get that. It's an interesting take, but it didn't. And if it worked, if he had made it work, it would have been great. But it just made no sense that somebody. You know, I mean, it just didn't.
Well, I
make
mean, you are nitpicking a movie about Frankenstein and
No, I'm not
vampire.
nitpicking a movie. I'm not.
Listen. I completely understand.
This is an example of probably what he thought was clever writing. It's
probably his most clever writing.
This person died, and he was the smartest person in the world who died, and then coincidentally, a minute later, his brother died. It was the dumbest person in the world. It would only take an idiot to confuse these two people. Wow, that's telegraphing foreshadowing that Igor is about to steal the wrong brain, thinking he was going to steal the smart brain and grabs the dumb brain. I was like,
here's the thing. I don't want to. You're making me defend this movie, and I don't want to.
I'm not making you defend.
I am, but I have to now because
there's nothing to defend.
It's exactly a plot point you would see on the Munsters back in the 60s. And that's what it is. And like and again, I completely understand if people are like, I hated this movie. And I'm like, listen, that's fine. Like I kind of dug it because it reminded me of what the Munsters was. But you're right.
Dude, I watched
it's stupid writing.
I watched Addams Family.
When you're playing euchre, like recently?
Yeah, in my chill downtime. And it's like, it didn't remind me of anything other than visually. It was you know.
I'd say it's better to watch with like family or something. Like if you want to introduce your kids to the Munsters.
Why, do you hate your family?
I mean sometimes.
I've got that crazy uncle who could stand to watch one.
I just couldn't. I could not. And the idea that there's a version out there with 45 more minutes.
Oh God, no.
I'm like, oh my God.
No. I don't.
It was like, the scene where like we have to name him. Monster, not monster. Herman. How about Herman? I was like, it's just Herman. You don't need. That remind me of what's your name? Han. Are you alone? Yeah. Okay. Han Solo. That's your name now. I'm like, oh wow, glad we waited 30 years for that. You know, it just I don't know. I just think prequels. I think it's always better to go forward. That's all.
Fair. I will not argue that.
All right. So say goodnight, Mick. Tell us, remind everyone where we can find you, and you.
Hey, thank you very much for having us, guys. Appreciate it. You can find us on the Scene Snobs. If you Google it or you go to thescenesnobs.com, we're everywhere. You can check out our shows. We have the Scene Snobs podcast at 9 p.m. every Tuesday night. It's live, or you can listen to it anywhere on all podcast platforms. We have lots of stuff going on our YouTube channel this week alone. Like we have our Friday morning drive show you can listen to from 7 to 10 or watch over on YouTube. But we are doing a live ghost hunt Friday night at 9 p.m. Casey and I will be on a paranormal investigation with the Maryland Phenomena investigation team.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be pretty crazy.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's pretty
awesome. Thank you. And so we're excited for that. And that's going to be.
Wait, so is that's going to be live and on the air?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going to have Jason Taylor from Three Geeks and Sir Sturdy from Horror with Sir Sturdy. They're going to host it. We'll be on the field doing the investigating, I guess. And
peeing myself. It's going to be peeing myself.
Nice.
So it's one of our Halloween specials that we have going on.
That's very cool. Casey,
very cool.
Fill in the gaps there.
Absolutely. I just want to say that I appreciate it as always, Jeff. Thank you for having us on the show. It's fantastic to hang out with y'all with the great Baron Von Lippy Pants, the mighty Sal D'Amelio, one half of the Sal and Bob show, and you, my good man, Sir Jeff Dwoskin. So thank you as always.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming back and being friends of the show. We appreciate you. Sal, say goodnight.
Good night, everybody. SalD'Amelio.com, the Sal and Bob Show podcast. Genetti's Hole in the Wall Theater once a Thursday every month. Check it out. Genetti's Hole in the Wall Theater.com.
Lippy Pants.
I'm back up in the air on Delta Airlines like a crazy man now through the end of the year. So this is going to be a little interesting run for me, but enjoyed once again being with you guys. Casey and Mick, just awesome having you together and fantastic. So this Friday, I'm going to be with my 14-year-old and her 5-year-old friend, 5 other friends at the Terrified Forest. While you guys are doing your show, I'm going to be getting spooked in a forest for 3 hours out in
With
Michigan,
5
Michigan.
14-year-olds, Ron. God
Yeah,
bless you, sir.
Yeah, 5 of them.
Run.
that's
We're
right.
getting it's going to be live, and I'm hosting it.
Stay away from Sasquatch.
Seriously.
Check out the Sal and Bob Show podcast. Check out Classic Conversations, previously number 1 in Yemen. Now, not even ranking. not even ranking in Yemen. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, hey, listen, Yemenis are fickle people. You just can't
know,
you can't gauge it.
All right,
ups and downs
thanks
there.
everyone. I'll be at the Motor City Comic Con this weekend, checking that out.
nice.
So that'll be fun. So, all right, everyone. We'll talk to you later. And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.